We're all fans of one car brand over the other. So some of us like Lamborghini, others prefer Ferrari. Generally speaking, you're either a Volkswagen or an Opel person. And then there are those who swear by BMW, and those of us that swear they are the worst drivers on the road. But generally speaking, the love we feel are for the brands themselves, not the people behind them. Except maybe when it comes to Walter de Silva, probably the greatest living car designer. The Italian with a Portuguese name has designed some brilliant looking cars, and when the Audi A5 was released, he said it was his best design ever. Not many people would disagree. And now, from that piece of art, another designer, Wolfgang Egger, has created the A5 Sportback. Now you'd think that messing with that brilliant original A5 design would at best make it less desirable and at worst completely ruin it. But surprisingly, adding 2 doors and a boot hasn't lessened the impact at all. The Sportback is every bit as gorgeous as the original coupe. It starts when you walk up to it and you immediately notice how low it is. There's no doubt that the Sportback was designed to accommodate more people and more stuff, and that kind of tells your brain that, well, it has to be bulkier and less athletic. But it's not. It has new lines and angles to appreciate. The boot fits perfectly with the rest of the design, and it's just so pretty. The Sportback shape has lost none of the impact of the original A5, even though it is slightly longer and slightly taller than the coupe. You even get to appreciate the brilliant design from the inside. Now there's a lot happening up front, but I want to start at the back because you can sit in here in complete comfort despite the sloping roofline. In fact, the headroom in here is better than a BMW X6, and that car's 30 centimeters taller than this one. And as the driver, you get to enjoy a well-designed, well-laid-out setup with the usual mix of top-class materials. Even though this interior isn't crammed with every available option, in fact it's fairly modest by Audi test car standards, it's still comfortable and simple to use. The multimedia interface is the best system of its kind. Even the most nervous of technophobes will get it right. There are a few engine options in the A5 Sportback, but we've got the V6 3-litre TDI. Now the kilowatt count is impressive at 176, but it's the torque figure that makes the difference. 500 Newton meters from just 1500 RPM. All that combined gives you a 0 to 100 time of just 6.1 seconds and a top speed of 250. The other engine options are both petrol, a 2-litre turbo and the 3.2 V6. Gearbox choices? Well, there aren't any. You get the 7-speed S-tronic direct clutch box only, and that's not a bad thing. Well, not entirely. Overall, it's great. It's smooth and responsive and instant and typically DSG, and the pedals just add to the enjoyment. There is a slight problem on pull-off sometimes though, where it takes a second or two to make up its mind, which makes things not very smooth. It's not the end of the world, it's just not very German. The ride setup is also a little unexpected. It's not as wafty as you might think. Some people just might find it a little too hard, but for me, it's about right. Comfortable enough to enjoy a slow cruise, but hard enough to let you have a bit of fun when you want to get going. Add Quattro to all of that, and you have a machine that handles just brilliantly. You've got loads of torque, you've got a seamless gearbox once you're on the move, you've got a great suspension setup and 4-wheel drive. When you push the A5 Sportback, it responds. Push it harder and it responds even better. It's just such a fantastic thing to drive. Don't get me wrong, you don't have to push it to enjoy it. The diesel engine is refined, the cabin is cozy, the whole thing is such a smooth operator that you could crawl home in a monsoon during rush hour and still have a good time. This is a very, very good car and worth the 511,000 Rand asking price. Every now and again we drive a car that's got very few things to complain about, and the Audi A5 Sportback is one of those cars. If I had to nitpick, I'd say the ride is a little bit harder than you'd expect, but even that goes some way to adding to what is a fantastic drive. In 3-litre TDI, guys, the A5 Sportback holds most of the performance aces. It links ample muscle and huge torque to super low consumption. Progress is utterly effortless. Add to that the sleek, attractive styling and a compelling sense of refinement, and the A5 pleases in virtually every respect. Only the ride could be deemed a little too firm.